Yeah. A picture of whatever his name is with the dump note is just fucking tickled me so much.
I think it's Light. I never watched
Yeah, neither did I.
No.
That was one of the ones that was like on Toonami, but just went over my head.
Mm-hmm.
Well, welcome to CRT episode 19, Cold Hard Trash. I'm your host, Trashcan Jones.
And I'm Breeeeeg, your fellow host.
And I have realized that I made a mistake. I have bad news and good news. Bad news is I made a lot of mistakes in the uploading of the video version of this podcast. But the good news is I found a way that it's your fault.
Joy.
So don't worry. I don't feel bad about it at all. That being that I didn't put tags in like any of the episodes that we uploaded onto YouTube because I don't think we get like a specific amount of like tags for Spotify and the other ones other than just like our normal ones for the podcast. But yeah, the second I did that, I think it was like episode 16 or whatever, it got like 4 times the amount of views.
Oh, okay.
And I remember you telling me like, oh yeah, I never checked the video uploads, which you never be able to look at the tags for a video, but
You used to be able to.
I think you can look at like the hashtags or something, but I think it's still only for shorts or something like that. I don't think you can see them in regular videos.
In that case, they would have taken it away, because I remember old YouTube having.
Yeah, I remember it too, now that you say that. But I tried to look at the the videos, or some videos, and I couldn't see the tags. Maybe it's just in a different place than when I was looking.
Well, to all our listeners / viewers, well, I apologize to the viewers. The listeners don't give a shit about that.
Yeah, I was gonna say they don't view nothing.
Yeah.
They just listen. I wonder, is there a segment of people who listen and view? I feel like they'd be kind of like separate circles. If you're listening, then what's the point of viewing unless we give a specific visual supplemental? Which we haven't in a while.
I normally listen to podcasts while driving.
Same.
So I'd love to have, a big screen right there so I could watch.
Yeah, good old Tesla driving.
Yeah. I knew someone in high school, and I never saw this personally, but I was told that apparently she would drive, she'd take her phone, put it up on the console, with the speed limit, or the speedometer.
Yeah.
And have Netflix on it.
Oh my god, that's nuts.
Insane. I'm pretty, she's still alive. But
Thank God.
insane behavior.
I was going to say, that's some luck to still be alive doing shit like that. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I've done that while like my car is parked because it's like a convenient place to like just have your phone sit while you're sitting in your driver's seat. You don't have to like crane your neck anyway or like look straight down. But while you're driving just seems like an insane move.
You need your shows.
Over the speedometer.
You just get a feel for it.
How are you going to explain that one? If you get pulled over for any sort of like speeding or infraction, like, sorry, it's just really good episode of whatever the hell. I just wasn't paying attention. I just kind of lead-footed it for a while.
Who knows?
That's nuts.
Yeah, at least it's not like TikTok or something, because then you gotta fucking scroll it every, 30 seconds.
You can do that pretty mindlessly, though. You don't even have to look. You can just kind of like scroll randomly with your finger, and if something pops up funny, you...
yeah. You're just passively waiting.
I was going to say, there's definitely, of distracted driving, people used to straight up full text with the buttons when it used to be analog buttons while driving. So people don't give a shit.
Honestly, I think that's better than, it's not good, but it's better than doing it with a touchscreen.
Yeah, because you can feel the analog buttons. I remember being able to text without looking.
Yeah, because you just
flip.
feel it around. The one thing I never had that I wish I had was a full keyboard phone.
Yeah, one of the slide-out ones, like the T-Mobile Sidekicks.
Yeah,
those
shit. Ruled.
Those were awesome. They're the ones that can slide out 2 ways, like you turn it sideways and it slides, but you could also turn it up and it would slide, like another D-pad.
Yeah,
that was sick.
So cool. Need to up my texting and driving game. Get an apparatus that I attach to my phone.
Yeah, we should look up like early 2000s like gaming on the phone ads, because there was like little bits of like, oh yeah, this phone is perfect for like playing your games, but what games were available on cell phone in 2003 or whatever, 2004?
I had Snake on my first phone.
I remember there was Resident Evil, I think Gaiden, which was like the Game Boy game. There was some Game Boy ports on cell phones, I remember.
Yeah, if it's like a menu game, I can see it, but...
Yeah, or like something like Tetris, Poro, something like that. Space Invaders.
There's a Kingdom Hearts game that's exclusive to the phone.
Huh.
A specific phone. I don't know if I've ever.
It's exclusive to a specific phone.
Yeah, I think it was like maybe like Sony made a foray into the phone space, like one attempt or something.
What the hell? Is there any canon material in that?
Of course, it's a Kingdom Hearts game. They have canon material in every single thing that comes out.
What is... So if you want to get the full picture, you have to at least look up the info in that phone game.
Yeah, I mean, it probably wasn't that important, but
right, but
something
it's
happened.
Some details.
You
might find yourself asking why and having to go to a wiki page of some phone game from the 2000s. Like, what happened?
I'm also pretty sure that the creator of Kingdom Hearts, Tetsuya Nomura, said that Sora's appearance in Smash Brothers is canon somehow. Unexplained how, but...
What does that mean? What do you mean canon? Like canon to the Kingdom Hearts world?
Evidently.
So does that mean everything in the Mario universe is canon to the Kingdom Hearts world then? And also,
well,
like,
I mean, we don't know if Smash Brothers is canon to Mario.
Right, but I mean, like, they're canon to the Kingdom Hearts world, though. That's what I'm saying. If Sora's canon in Smash, that means the rest of the characters are also canon in Kingdom Hearts, by extension. Right? So, like, Snake and... Snake wasn't in the same one as Sora. So, like, Ryu and...
No, Snake... Yeah, they took out Snake for Smash 4.
They brought him back?
Yeah, so they did Smash...
Nice.
They did Smash Brawl, which introduced Snake. Then they did Smash 4, where they didn't want to get the rights for it or whatever for that time. And that was on the Wii U and the 3DS. So it's technically Smash Wii U and Smash 3DS.
Right.
But they lumped them together, call them Smash 4. Those are also the ones where they didn't have Ice Climbers, I believe.
Yeah, because the DS couldn't handle it.
Yeah, the DS couldn't handle form changes. And multiple characters.
What do you mean form changes? Like Zelda to Sheik?
Yep, that's that's the game that they took it out.
Oh, okay.
Just made them separate characters.
Makes sense then.
And then there's Smash Ultimate, and its whole marketing thing was everybody's here. So they brought back a bunch of old maps, but they didn't get Pokefloats.
Well, Pokefloat sucks anyway. It's the worst map.
But it's cool.
It's neat, but it's every time you get it, you're just like, Pokefloats was the one I always banned. Everybody was always like, yeah, fuck Pokefloats.
Well, I love Pokefloats because it's goofy.
Stupid. I remember there's like I think it's in Melee where there's a 100-man challenge you got to do on Pokefloats. It sucks.
Melee was the one with the challenges.
Yeah, it's the worst.
I love it. But they brought back Snake for Ultimate because, like they said, everybody's here.
Yeah.
And, so I remember Anderson, a friend of ours, said, without just like unprompted, like to another friend of ours, if they announce Sora for the final character for Smash, I will buy you a Switch.
No.
And that friend didn't even particularly like want a Switch. He was like fine with the idea of it, but he wasn't like seeking one out. But I remembered that. And so I pointed it out. I was like, you have to get him a Switch. Like, I don't even benefit from this, but I was there.
Bet. Yeah. you don't have any stake in it, but you're holding them to it.
Yeah. And then he got the Switch and Smash Ultimate, and he still plays Melee.
Oh, hell yeah. He still plays Melee, so he doesn't use the... Okay. So he said he still plays Smash.
Yeah. I mean, he probably plays other games on the Switch at sometimes, but yeah, he just still plays Melee. I'm sure you can guess who this is.
Yeah. It's pretty funny, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Good old Smash Bros. Apparently, Minecraft Steve is like a busted character.
Yeah, he like breaks a lot of mechanics and just has like new stuff that's introduced for him or something like that.
There was an actual, I think it was a bug. They said they stopped doing content for the game, but I don't know if and updates, but they might have went back and fixed this one, where you could essentially like tech a move. Like you could just like negate all knockback for a single move. Normally teching is like a thing where you can like negate some knockback from like bouncing off of a wall or the ground, but he could just like prevent all knockback while like in the air. So he got banned at a couple tournaments because that's just a completely unfair thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say you could just do that whenever.
Yeah,
kind of bogus.
Yeah, but yeah. So Steve is apparently strong. Snake, I believe he has like a taunt where he like goes into his box, right?
Yeah.
When he throws the box off, it has a hitbox. So some
the box itself has a hitbox? Like it's
yeah,
part of
it does like 0.1 damage. But it has a hitbox, so I've seen clips of people like doing that on edge and then like standing up and dropping the box off of them, and then it falls off the edge and it hits someone trying to do a recovery, and interrupts it.
That's pretty great. That's like I think it's in Street Fighter 3 Alpha the first time it is. Like there's this guy Dudley who's just a really like sharp dressed boxer guy, and one of his like signature moves is just like to throw a rose, and it's meant to be an anti-air, so it doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it can just knock somebody out of the air. But it's just like this arcing projectile. So you'll see people who will like do a combo so good and leave them stunned and like knock them back and then just throw the rose, and he does like a little pose afterwards, and they'll hit him right at the end of the arc, like across the map, just whoop, one little bit of damage. Nice little rose hit.
I love styling in those games. It's so fun. Like going out of your way to not just win, but like to be stylish and do something goofy
end it with
and
a
cool.
flourish.
Yeah, it's very, very impressive. I love it so much. There's also a couple of other things in Smash. Greninja, the frog.
Yeah,
ninja
frog Pokemon.
He has a taunt that does have like a wind box. So it pushes you up into the air. I don't think there's any uses for it, but he like goes like, he puts his hands out and like shoots a little bit of water out. And that
it can knock stuff up.
Yeah, it can push people up a little bit. And Luigi has actually like a spike hitbox on his down taunt.
Oh, isn't that the one where he's the like does a little kick?
Yeah, he just sort of like stands there, puts his hands behind his back, and just like does a little like aw shucks kick.
Yeah, I've seen people's clips there where people like the boing, and it, like, sends you flying.
That tiny little aw shucks kick is an incredibly strong like smash hitbox. I also don't think it does a lot of damage, but it does a spike.
Right.
So you can get someone with that.
It's like Jigglypuff's rest. It does like 30% damage, but it's a spike if you just get close enough with it. Just boing.
That has such a tiny little hitbox.
Yeah, you basically got to be like running into them and then hit it.
And really if you whiff it, then you're very...
then you're just asleep, yeah. Just get punished.
But very cool stuff. I also kind of wish that like Final Smashes were more balanced so they could be used in tournaments.
Yeah, I feel like though the idea of it just doesn't, I don't know, Final Smash without items or Final Smash or anything, it's just not really the same game. Like I get if you want to make it a competitive thing where you keep it just the fighting mechanics, but I feel like that's not the game they're making. They're making a fun game to play that's just like like Mario Kart. Like if you want to play that as just the racing game and time trials, like okay, go ahead and do that, but that's you have to recognize that that's not what Mario Kart is.
Well, there is the real argument I've heard for no items isn't like for the purity of the fight or anything like that, but it's the fact that if you are standing still and you hit A and an item were to spawn underneath you, your attack wouldn't go through and instead you would pick up the item. So that's just sort of like a, that is much worse like random effects into the game than like someone getting the fire sword and then like using that. Like that's cool, whatever. But if you are trying to attack and you get interrupted by an item spawning on your feet, I could see that.
I feel like that's super like random slim chance though. What are the odds?
Apparently it's not.
Yeah. Huh.
Like it's just something that like it interrupts like standard play as opposed to like having a weird, wacky extra thing, which people still probably don't like that, but
yeah.
And sure. I think that's the mindset of a lot of people who are saying like no items in like a casual experience. Like if you're at a gathering and you're playing Smash with someone, I think that's the mindset behind it. But like when it comes down to tournament stuff, like apparently that is the thought process behind banning items.
I had no idea.
But Final Smashes, you have an option to have a bar that fills up that gives it to you, so you don't even need to hit the Smash ball.
No. That's pretty cool.
So, you could use them, but...
Yeah, like Little Max KO Punch.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't even... That's not even a Final Smash.
I know, but that's just like his thing that he gets. Now everybody gets one of those.
Yeah. I love Lil Mac, even though apparently he's like an awful character. Because he has no recovery.
Yeah, he's really not good at like... Once he gets in the air, off the ledge, he's just kind of done for. I love him too. Punch-Out's one of my favorite games.
Just fucking... his sprint speed is so fast, so you're just like going around like Sonic, and I would just like run back and forth and throw haymakers.
Hell yeah.
And then I do other stuff, but I had too much fun doing my laps and just every once in a while doing a little
just the overhead slam. I just looked up just yesterday. Do you know have you seen the original Punch Outs, like the arcade cabinets, Punch Out and Super Punch Out, before it was a Nintendo game?
No.
So in those, they have a lot of the same like boxers, like Glass Joe and I think Mr. Sandman, Super Macho Man. They were all like ones that were ported over, but there were some that were just hilarious.
Oh, I know they got pretty bad with those.
Well, they had Vodka Drunkinski for the Russian one, but do you remember the Italian boxer's name?
I don't.
It's just Pizza Pasta.
Oh.
It wasn't even like anything super like racist. It was just like, what's in Italian? I don't know. That Pizza Pasta. Yeah, whatever. Throw it in there. It's so, and it didn't like, he didn't have like a big Italian mustache, like anything super crazy. He was just like a normal looking guy, but they had to be like, we had to make him different somehow. I don't know, make him Italian. How do we do that?
Just name him Pizza Pasta. Easy peasy. Like,
it's so good.
I wonder if that's very little thought or like immense thought. You know, like how hard did they think about that?
We must do research into the Italy. It's probably no thought at all. Like that's probably the only things that have left Italy to like a national market is like, oh yeah, pizza is Italian, pasta is Italian. I feel like that's worldwide knowledge, something like that. But that's about it. They didn't really look harder than that.
I know about what was the Japanese one again? Like something Honda, but I think.
Piston Honda, yeah.
Piston Honda. Did they keep the name Honda?
They changed it to Piston Hondo for the Wii version, but for every single, he was Piston Hondo in Punch Out and then the NES Punch Out. I don't think he was in Super Punch Out.
I just remember playing Jazz Punk, and there's a goofy thing that you can end up doing where you end up walking to a room, and it puts you into a first-person fighting game where you're fighting a Honda. It's just a car, and you.
That's actually a joke from Street Fighter because there's a character named E Honda in that.
Oh,
and there's also a mini game in Street Fighter after I think the third fight where you have to hit a car and you have to do the sequence in the right to do the most damage to get like bonus points. So yeah, it's like a joke on that, like you're just fighting a Honda, like you are in Street Fighter.
Okay, well it was a completely different reference, but the name Honda brought me to it.
Oh, if you play Street Fighter 2, you'll hear like, especially in that like reference, they do like a big homage to the music and everything, like the din 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 din, like all the techno music while it's going on. It's pretty funny.
And you're just beating up a car.
You're just slapping a car. I have disgraced my manufacturer.
Yeah, nice.
Jazz Punk is such a good game.
It is. I love how goofy it is. It's really just sort of like it's not like a game where you have like an objective, really. It's like an art exhibit of just like the goofiest gaming things you could think of.
Yeah,
you know?
It's just like a way to get jokes across, like jokes that could only be done in the format of a video game.
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, and they just do like anything.
Right, it's like literally things you could only do in a video game, things that could only like, it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Like when the director just like goes down the stairs every time and he's just like sleeping behind his desk or whatever. Because he like, once you get out of the cutscene, you can actually go behind there.
My favorite is there's like the fire alarm, and then I think it shoots out water, and then there's an ice alarm, and it shoots out fire from.
yeah. The ice alarm, just in case there's too much ice.
Yep.
And you take damage from GoldenEye. It's like a little orange
the
bar on the
whole
side.
thing. Yeah.
For that one time in the game, just take the little damage.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
The game is just chock full of so many stupid references. I feel like it's one of those things where like only a very, very small section of a very small section of the populace that game is made for. Because it's not only people who play video games, but people who play like video games to a degree that those references sort of make sense to them, and like that kind of, comedy is really hits them home. I don't know. I feel like it's a very small niche, but it still hit it so well that it's a popular game.
You don't even need to get all the references, I mean, as long as you get like a couple of them, you see what they're doing with it, and then all sorts. Like I didn't know the GoldenEye damage thing. It was just like, to me, it was just like, oh, they're just like cluttering up the screen, and I could tell it was a damage thing. just because like you're shooting fire and water.
Yeah, and then it just turns it's fire spraying and make you take the damage. Yeah, I guess I hadn't considered that. You also didn't realize about the A Honda thing that we just talked about. So you still, even from someone who doesn't know the references, those comedy bits still land, but in different ways.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's good. So, I saw a meme today.
Do tell.
I was thinking about, like, the progression of them. Like, you know how there's a lot more irony nowadays. Originally, memes were those, like, just image macros, and you sort of put together a character, right? You know, like Bad Luck Brian or Dirtbag Durden.
Sure, I think
whatever.
It was Dirtbag Steve or something. No, Scumbag Steve.
Yeah. And you would put together this sort of like idea of a person, and then you would just, with the image macros, you would list off, you know, you just make little scenarios that you imagine this person would be in, right?
Right.
And how they might react to it. But nowadays, it's really, it's just a lot more irony, and that's kind of like where the joke comes from. Specifically, you know that picture of like a pipeline, and then there's like a big guy with his mouth open, and there's all this water coming in, and there's a little crack in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I have never seen that meme, like, accurately describe the situation. It's always ironic, where it's like skins in a video game, where like one character like just ends up getting a bunch of skins, and then another one gets like none.
Right.
They put the character that gets a bunch of skins as the one getting the drop of water, and then the one that gets basically none as the one that's gobbling them all up because they got like a single skin.
Right.
So, yeah, it's that entire format. Like, the joke starts by reversing what the image is actually supposed to mean.
Sure.
So that's, I guess, just one example of like how it's pretty much just like pure irony now with a lot of memes.
I feel like they started the right way though. Like, is that one isn't specifically like a political cartoon? Like, it probably was initially, you know, done the right way, and then it's just, pardon me, done so many times that it eventually just becomes ironic. Yeah, circles back around.
But I don't really see like non-ironic versions of it. Like, yes, I know the political cartoon isn't ironic, but when I see it, like, I played this game like Pikmin 3, right? Huge fan of the Pikmin series. Like, one of the characters like fantasizes about stealing their food and keeping it to themselves because they're just, you know, they have to ration it out and stuff like that.
Sure.
Pretty normal thing. Actually, I kind of forget where I'm going with this one. Basically, there's one of the characters like drinking all the juice that they have for ration, and
right.
The other one is like trying to get drips from it. But yeah,
they made the meme and it flipped with those characters. I feel like I've seen it the same way though, like especially for just in my personal experience, different NFL examples of like, you know, receivers that get a lot of catches and versus a receiver that doesn't get a lot one but they think deserves more will be the one just getting the drips. So it's like it's done like in the right context or sometimes I feel. Just depends on, I guess, the space that it gets posted in.
I guess so. Yeah.
Maybe in the Pikmin community there was a large surge of those memes, so now they're just like, yeah, we're tired of it, so we're going to use it more ironically now.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see it as much though. Like,
yeah, I don't see it every day. It's much
more common for there to be the ironic version of that in my eyes than the straightforward version. Did you watch that parkour civilization video I sent you?
I watched part of it. It was like an hour or something.
It is like 2 hours.
And it is pretty hard to watch that guy just put on the character of being like the whole thing for a while. It is rough. I don't know if it's for like a child audience to where like they're into that or if it's all ironic, but if it's all ironic, it is rough.
It's it just sort of blew up on Twitter like this past week, so I've been seeing a lot of memes about it.
It's literally like those Plants vs. Zombies ads where they're just like, dude, did you see the newest thing in Plants vs. Zombies? No, what was it? You can have a new turret that fires plants and all these, and they're actually like trying to sound like they're into it, but you can so clearly tell that they're just like putting on an air.
People are really into the parkour civilization, though. They're saying it's like an actual critique of society, which I don't fully stand behind. I think there's some surface level themes.
There might be some microcosms of society. It happens when people build things like that, especially when they have the whole thing of like the upper or the pro parkourers. Like, no one who's up there is ever born in the lower areas, but it's my job to climb on upper. And I'm like, it's a classic story. People can relate to it.
He ends up becoming the parkour master, by the way.
Ah, neat.
Sorry, spoilers. I should have said something for anyone wanting to watch Parkour Civilization. There's a second one, too. So I might actually watch that.
It is so long. I might put it on one morning, but it's just so grating hearing him like try to actually like care about that to a degree. It's
also like all the conflict that happens in it is just sort of like, yeah, well, look at me do this. You ever see that tweet where it's like kids just walk up to you and be like, look at my new move, and spin around? Like, yeah, that's pretty much what this is.
So it is made for kids.
Yeah, like it's Minecraft content. Like, I don't think any Minecraft content is made for adults.
Fair.
As well, an adult can't enjoy it. But the thing that pisses me off about it is that he's like, his sort of thing that he keeps on doing that impresses everyone is doing a 360 jump.
Ooh.
Where he jumps from one block to another and does a 180.
What?
But he calls it a 360 every single time when it isn't.
Does he like do like half the spin in the air and the other half when he lands or something like that?
No, he just does half a spin over the course of one jump. It's just not a 360, and I just think anybody involved in that entire like series like just does not know what a 360 is at all. It's just a little bit of research that I guess slipped past him.
Yeah, it's just something. Some things slip through the cracks. Full turn versus a half turn,
Yeah. But the main thing on Twitter is just people talking about doing the one block jump for the chicken or the one block vertical jump for the beef, and just riffing on that, in different iterations of what the one block vertical jump is for.
Right. So much harder, but perhaps more fruitful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And another thing on my Twitter recently is, you remember YouTube Poops, right?
Of course, yeah.
There's one of Gravity Falls. I'm pretty sure it's the episode where they're like falling endlessly in like the bottomless pit and they're like telling stories.
Sure.
And Grunkle Stan tells a story of Grunkle Stunkle wins the Funkle Bunkle because, it's YouTube poop and you recut the way they say things. And that's like a 20-second clip, right? And then it's just people making different iterations on that. And so it's like Grink Stink wins the Fink Bink. And then it's another like iteration of like YouTube poop. So that's all my timeline has been.
Sounds awesome.
The Grunkle Stunkle wins the Funkle Bunkle, Parkour Civilization. And I guess recently Marjorie Taylor Greene saying that the Democrats have a weather machine.
They have a weather machine? Oh, shit.
Yeah. So.
Oh, no.
That. Ooh, the other thing today I've started seeing was George Santos, who's a politician from New York. Apparently he was a guest on Fortnite Fridays, which I...
Wait, like in Fortnite, they do like a Fortnite in a game event type thing?
No, they I guess it's a thing where they get celebrities
to play Fortnite.
On stream with someone else.
And it's like Fortnite sponsored or something?
I don't know. It's either Fortnite sponsored or there's.
I'm gonna say who put this together.
Person who like just does that, who like plays Fortnite and gets celebrities or politicians to hop on.
Sure.
But yeah, they'll be like debating gun things or something like that, and they'll be like, hold up, drink the slurp juice.
hold up, drink this slurp juice.
Yeah.
Get the chug jug.
Exactly. They're freaking out like they're in the middle of debating about something, and then the storm comes. It's like, what do I do?
Why are they actually trying to like do things while playing Fortnite? Just play the game.
I mean, what's the point of having a guest star if they aren't speaking, right? If they're just gonna play boring, like regular old Fortnite, like
to see what they're like, you know. I don't want to hear someone's like political debate. I guess I don't want to see a politician. Yeah, I don't want to see a politician play video games. Period. But I don't. If I'm gonna see them play video games, I don't want to hear their politics while they're doing it.
All the clips I've seen are quite entertaining.
I guess it would make some pretty good memes. Getting interrupted in the middle of the debate for a gunfight.
Yeah,
it'd be pretty funny. It'd be pretty dystopian world we live in. So, if you were to have to plan an assassination, but with a fruit, what fruit would you go for in terms of both ability to kill and evidence that would come back to you? Because we talked about before, like durians that kind of explode and drop from great heights would be probably easy to kill someone. People do die from durians, but you drop a durian in the middle of the city of Chicago, that's coming back to you. Who bought the durian? They could probably smell it from your apartment. Like, that doesn't grow around here. Like, they know. They can figure that out pretty quick.
You really got to plant a durian tree 30 years in advance.
It's a long con assassination. But now you need to kill someone tomorrow, and you need to make it look like an accident. You come to the realization of fruits. What's the fruit got to be?
First would be the obvious answer of, like, if they're allergic to any fruit, use that.
No, yeah.
Second, banana.
For the peel aspect, or are you just going to try to choke them? Oh, okay.
Yes.
And make them slip. What happens if they just slip and don't die? Seen that
Am I allowed to have any other things, or is it just solely fruit murder?
Just solely the fruit. You don't want to have anything else that comes back to you evidence-wise, like going to a hardware store to buy nails or something like that. Those can come back to you. Fruit is disposable. It'll biodegrade. They're not going to think that's used in a crime. It's the perfect weapon.
And I throw it in front of the car, so...
The car hits the banana peel and then swerves. Yeah, like the O'Doyle's.
They'll spin out, maybe get into a collision.
That's
and they come in a bushel, like a bushel of bananas. I think it's called a hand of bananas if we got really technical.
Oh. I always say bunch.
So I got a bunch of attempts.
True.
Right? He's gonna have one really bad day of slipping and falling.
I will say, although there is that funny moment in I think it's Billy Madison, where the O'Doyles hit the banana peel in their car, just veer right off a cliff. There's also the real life example of Remy Gallard doing that in France, and those cars did not give a shit about those banana peels. So I don't know how well that would actually work out, unfortunately.
What do you think?
I'm thinking maybe an apple, if you got it from a high enough, like you could definitely dent someone's skull, give them a nice little, what is that called, like a contusion or something that makes their brain bleed. You can probably kill them real good with that, or if you hit them in the spine.
You use the apple to take away the gift of eternal life.
You could do carrot. I feel like carrot you can get sharp enough and stiff enough to where you can get it in their eye and jam it in.
Not fruit.
Yeah,
no, we're talking about fruits and veggies. That's a whole.
Yeah, that's true. All right, so just stick to fruits. I think. Well, what could be? You can't really whittle a fruit though. I'm trying to think of what I could modify a fruit. Apple would be the easiest one to just grab, and then you could maybe everybody's got apples. Apples are everywhere. I don't know if there's apple trees around, but you're not gonna be able to trace an apple back to you, as well as they would a durian or a pineapple, perhaps. Pineapple, I feel like, is another one of those big fruits. Like, if someone's got that, I feel like it's either just a comedic effect that they're carrying it home from the grocery store, or someone's got that for a reason.
No, pineapple also have those enzymes that break down meat proteins.
Yeah, you just dump them in a vat of that. Eventually, they disintegrate.
Yeah, you take the pineapple, you cut it in half, and you tape it around their head.
And then wait.
Yeah, it'll get there eventually. I was working on it.
It's like medieval torture. They put your head in a bird cage and just put a candle right outside it. It just melts your face slowly.
I'll get them.
I feel like a banana, even if you don't use the peel, I feel like that could be pretty deadly. If you you could probably asphyxiate someone with that if you get up close and personal. But even if you drop it from a high height, that thing's pretty good in the peel. It's pretty solid. You could probably dink somebody with that, especially if you hit them straight up and down. You tomahawk them from the top of the building.
So does it have to be a raw fruit?
You can cook it, I suppose. I feel like cooking it would just make it softer.
Can you ferment it?
I feel like you might not have time. What are you thinking to ferment that would make it like a better weapon?
Grapes. So you make wine, and then you smack them with the wine bottle.
So then the bottle comes into play. Wait a minute.
Well, how am I going to hold the wine?
Yeah, I feel like, again, that'll take just a little too much time. This is a kind of a
Yeah,
pertinent...
this has to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a political assassination, let's say. The world is at stake here, Mr. Bond. Mr. Fruit Bond.
Watermelon. Seeded watermelon.
Watermelon would be good. That'd be pretty heavy.
A straw, and you eat most of the watermelon, and you get the seeds in your mouth, and you go...
Like a machine gun.
Yeah.
Spit them out.
Exactly.
Do a little drive-by on them. That'd be pretty good.
That'll get them.
Like
you could sharpen the seeds.
You can do the same like peach bits. Probably like sharpen those into bullets and then just like that'd be like the cannon version, the 50 cal version. Of
Yeah, you got a whole loadout of different caliber
seeds,
fruit seeds and pits.
You just have them whittled down. You're ready to just blow dart them. That'd be pretty good actually. I didn't really get the appeal of blow darts, but there was, while we were in college, someone figured out how to use that I think it was a piece of gas piping to shoot Nerf darts harder than I've seen.
It was a conduit.
It was conduit.
For wires.
It shot darts harder than any Nerf gun that I've been able to fire. And I was just like, blow guns are real good if you know how to use them right.
Yeah, we were also next to that high school, and so that guy actually got in trouble for shooting darts at their baseball game. At the outfielder.
That's awesome. That's awesome that it was able to reach
yeah,
so far.
It's a decently long pipe. I mean, air pressure is big.
Yeah, you just get the good. I forget what it's called. Like it gives you the glass blower's lungs if you do it for too much. But you get or the glass blower's cheeks rather. You like puff your cheeks up and get the.
Trumpeters get like that too.
I think actually that's a misconception. There's the really famous trumpeter that got that way, but it was famously that he played it like the incorrect way. I don't know if it was Louis Armstrong. He's just the most famous trumpeter I know. But no.
At least you know the picture I'm talking about.
Yeah, I think it was Dizzy Gillespie. I think that was the other trumpeter I know. Yeah, he has like really big distended cheeks right now, and he has basically what they call glass blower's cheeks. I guess the old way to blow glass was by doing that way. And that's like the incorrect way to do it. You're supposed to kind of do that is it called concentric breathing, where you kind of breathe out and in at the same time?
There's circle breathing, but you definitely need to use your cheeks for that.
I don't think you're supposed to puff them up though.
You kind of do. If you're gonna do that, because that's only really used if you're gonna be putting out like a very long, consistent note, or like slurring a bunch of notes together. Because it'd be more efficient if you were to just but you puff out the cheeks so that you can inhale through your nose, and you use the pressure from like your cheeks to continue to push air out during that time. I tried doing that when I was playing bassoon in like high school, middle school. I successfully did it like once, but not very well, and thought, man, it's not that useful, not for me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah. You keep the air in your mouth and you use your cheeks or jaw or whatever to continue to push it out while you inhale into your lungs, because normally you're pushing it out from your lungs. Your diaphragm rather is pushing it.
Yeah, there's something about it. I forget exactly what it is, but like most people who play the trumpet don't get to that bad. So there's something he was doing like very specifically that was kind of damaging.
It's cool.
It's
good.
I feel like that's like the wrestlers with cauliflower ear. They think it's cool, but it's just like, no, you're just fucking yourself up real bad, bud.
Well, that's like blood vessels breaking. This is like powerful cheek muscles.
Well, I feel like once they're distended and sagging, it's just like the blood vessels breaking in your skin, no? So they don't like retract the right way anymore?
Maybe. But it's cool. I like it.
It's cool. I want to have saggy cheeks. I want to get my saggy cheeks going. The weathered look.
Yeah. These cheeks are for trumpeting. Or blowing glass. You won't know until you ask. But it poses, it prompts the question.
Yeah, it's a conversation starter. So I have a segment on the podcast that I would like to start called Crimes That You Did Not Commit. It is where I list off a series of crimes and then I make it very clear that you did not commit them.
But I didn't?
Yeah. You didn't do any crime because you haven't done any crimes. So there's no real reason to it. But there's people there's crazies out there. They might try to come at you with all sorts of maybe false accusations. You never really know. So
why don't you say crimes that you didn't do?
I was trying to spread your good name. I didn't want to brag too much about it. I wanted to do a good thing for you. You just make it a whole segment kind of about you.
It's the whole I'm getting a lot of questions that are clearly answered by my "I'm not a human trafficker" T-shirt.
Well, I mean, it's not to implicate you in anything. If that's it's just I want to get ahead of any potential could be misdoings by anybody out there.
All right, what's the first one?
So it's just things like, to my knowledge, at the very least, because I don't want to just say definitively. I'm not any legal authority or anything like that. But to my knowledge, you haven't been found guilty of kidnapping at all. Not once has this man been found guilty of kidnapping. I want it to be on the record. Breeeeeg has not kidnapped a single person.
True.
Nor has he false imprisoned anybody. Don't believe any lies that you may be told. There's no false imprisonment charges that have stuck.
True. There were no charges at all.
Yeah.
First place.
Right. Yeah, that's an important distinction.
I don't think there is a lie out there that I did, but...
Well, that's why I'm getting ahead of it. So anybody tries to spread the lie, now they can't.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Getting ahead of the haters, staying one step ahead,
That's why they call me Breeeeeg, who isn't a kidnapper or false imprisoner.
Yeah, right. I feel like
it's like a pretty long title that,
I feel like we could just have that as a recurring segment, just every once in a while. Make sure to load up the arsenal. Make sure you got your defenses ready. Anybody comes at you just got pull it out the filing cabinet.
Okay, cool. Yeah, it's on the record.
Yeah, no, it's on the record. There's no way it's not false. It can't be. It's been said out loud now, and it's going to be on the internet forever.
Also, we have never made a charity and stolen all the money.
Yeah, we have not. We have never laundered money through a charity. We've never defrauded a charity. We've never done anything like that.
We might in the future.
There's really no need to speculate on that about our future plans.
We might not in the future.
We might, we probably might not in the future. Our future plans are to remain speculative. We like to remain in the present, though. We might plan for certain things or certain things to not do. Sometimes you got to plan to not do things. Yeah.
That's why they call me Breeeeeg, who plans not to do crimes.
That's a good name. That's a good one. You go to the police station with that, you're just getting a clean rap. They give you the get out of jail free card. Like, that was you. Sorry about that. We thought it was the Breeeeeg who did do crimes.
Yeah, different guy.
Different guy. Well, it's crazy that you both live in the same town.
Yeah.
It'd be funny if, every time you got arrested, you got, a new thing added to your name. So, people had to call you that. Now you're, Breeeeeg the Stealer.
Yeah.
You just got,
Breeeeeg, who didn't kidnap or falsely imprison anybody, but did steal something.
Right, you got, charged with those, but found not guilty still. All right, so we'll make sure that people know you are not the kidnapper or false prisoner, but the theft charge stuck, so.
Yeah. Makes me think of the OJ book, where it's if I did it, and then the family got the rights to it, and then they make "if" the smallest possible word on the title, so it just says I did it.
I did it. Sorry. That's pretty funny.
All right, cool. New segment. The first recurring segment.
Yeah, our first recurring segment. Crimes that you did not commit. I'm glad you're on board with it. I was a little skeptical.
I'm not really, but we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, as it progresses, maybe you'll feel differently, but I feel like it's pretty strong. I feel like it's got legs.
Can you be charged with slander by saying someone didn't do something?
I don't think so, because you're only speaking good things about them.
What if I did?
If you did do the thing,
you're spreading a falsehood.
Right, I feel like that's one of those things that you call the cops on your drug dealer sort of thing, like that you got stiffed on your drugs. And it's just or something like that. Like, hey, that guy spread lies, but he said I didn't commit crimes. I did. And they're like, oh. They just put the handcuffs on you, like, oh, okay.
Fair enough.
Right. It's one of those things like, yeah, I guess so it is, but like, are you really gonna try that? That guy's saying that I stole those things. I didn't steal a single thing. I killed all 3 of those people. I didn't touch a thing in their house.
Just did it for the fun of the murder, you know?
I'm in it for the thrill of the kill, officer. I wouldn't steal no type of money. How dare he spread those lies about me? I don't think that would go over well. I think you could definitely make a case, but you'd probably be making it from a cell.
And then I get him into the cell with me.
Ooh.
Because I win my case.
Bada bing, and then he becomes your cellmate, and then you become best friends, and you start a new friendship together, and the Shawshank Redemption movie plays.
Oh, I was thinking more murder, but...
Oh, yeah, you could Jeffrey Epstein him. Give him the old crack. He did it to himself. What are you talking about? Hey.
I hate that this is so ridiculous with that, you know? It's just...
The camera's rough. Hey, what do you want? Hey.
Yeah, so it's like the camera turns off, and the security guard is like asleep.
I think he was like on break or like away and asleep as well. Like he left the room and then took a nap somewhere else.
Yeah, it's like so just like brazen, I feel.
Yeah, no.
You know, I don't even give a shit to make like a really convincing story.
And they put him in a room with like the biggest, most tattooed ex-cop in the world. Like the biggest, like, I'm going to kill you in prison guy. Yeah, that's a wild world we live in. We found out that Pedophile Island was real and that we caught the guy and then we caught his number 2 and then they were just like, yeah, well, get on with it. We're done with this now.
I wonder what's happening with that right now. I'll probably look it up.
Didn't she? I think she just got sentenced and that was it.
It's something recent. I believe that's it.
Yeah, I don't know if anything like came out, like any big people were talking like, oh, maybe the list is going to come out, but I didn't see anything break about that. Which means there's probably some still pretty important people on that list.
Yep.
Wonder who's going down with Diddy, speaking of people going down.
Yeah, it seems like he's turned out to be a similar character to Epstein.
Yeah.
With all that.
So good.
I mean, if he has a black book, I hope they pursue every single name in that.
Yeah, I remember I think it was a clip of the lawyer against him who was like, oh, there will be some surprising names on this list. And I was watching a video of a guy like going over it, and he said something that I really agreed with. Like, am I really going to be surprised about any of the names at this point? Like, who's going to surprise me? And
yeah.
If there's someone like a Keanu Reeves or someone he brought up, like, that would surprise me. But there's no fucking way. Like, it's, there's people that you kind of know are in those circles or could kind of guess would be in those circles. There's no way, like, anything's going to hit me like, what? No way. Him or her? Like, it's probably all going to be like, yep, that makes sense. Yep, see you later. Tell everybody that I hear.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, Keanu Reeves is just like a good guy. I remember seeing a picture of him on Twitter with his age-appropriate girlfriend, and everyone was like, woohoo. He's not dating a 20-year-old like every other celebrity in their 40s.
Hell yeah. Pierce Brosnan, too. Same type of way. He's with the same woman that he's been with for his whole life.
Jerry Seinfeld picked up his girlfriend. He was like 30 or something and picked up his girlfriend from high school at the time. It's ridiculous. I don't know why anyone thinks this is appropriate.
I don't know. I get there's those weird old sensibilities of like, you know, like my grandma, I think met my grandpa when she was 14 and he was 17, something like that, where like people, I guess for some reason back then thought 14 was the start to good to go age, and beyond then it's just gravy, and I don't fucking get it. That's really gross. I don't know why people like we're looking down that far.
Even then, like for the time, I don't think 14 and 17 is like particularly surprising.
It's like freshman to senior, so yeah, not crazy, but it's still a little like, It would be today anyway. It would be like, Back then, it was very normal.
Yeah. Like, I mean, some of these people is like 20 years difference. It's crazy.
It's nuts. Even if it's like 20 years, like beyond adulthood. Like if she's 23 and you're like 50, it's just like, dude, what? What do you even have in common? What are you talking about? You don't even like you haven't even, there's no way you had anywhere near the same like upbringings, like same style of things. Like, it's just seems like it's gross from top to bottom.
Yeah. Let's talk about something lighter before we call it.
Sure. Ended on a light note. What should that light note be?
I was driving here, and I was using the apps on my phone. And I got the notification from you about parking, you know, all that stuff. But I also got a notification from my iPhone. Like iPhones have the whole like Find My app, which is basically it's connected to your other Apple devices, and you can use it to locate them. But I find it doesn't work with my AirPods when my AirPods are not connected to my phone, aka in their case.
Right.
It's fucking stupid. But whatever. I got a notification that my laptop was left behind.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
no.
evidently not. But I guess for, maybe 20 minutes there on the highway, I didn't know because I didn't open up my backpack. It said it was left behind it around like 70th Street, 73rd Street.
You just fell out of your car at some point. That'd be crazy.
I mean, or like some very, very skilled thieves, like, managed to pull something off there.
We're already in your car and action rolled out, closed the door as they left.
Yeah, and took the thing out of my
they got it at that
backpack
point.
that was sitting right next to me.
They earned it. That's pretty good.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
didn't even break any windows or anything. You didn't notice. That's pretty skillful.
Nope, very, very skilled. Yeah,
Wasn't violent or
say.
anything. I can appreciate a thief who's like not a violent one, who's just into the sneaking in and out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like if I got stolen that way, it would obviously be devastating. It would hurt, but there'd be something of just like, how did he fucking do it?
Yeah.
Like it would intrigue me.
Yeah, I remember. There's this. I forget the name of the show, but it's like the name of some like French thief in like literature. But it's not about him. It's about some other French thief who was inspired by him.
Oh, okay.
Because of the books,
Yeah.
It's like a guy. You get it. But the first episode is like a heist, right? And what they do is they do like they go to like an auction for like this diamond necklace.
Mm-hmm.
And they have a fake one. And they fake a like another heist, right?
Right.
Where someone tries to steal it, and like somewhere along that line, the guy who went there to win the auction swapped the real one with the fake one, and then got the real one out of there.
Right.
And then was like, this thing that I just won the auction for is fake. I'm not paying for that.
Genius.
Yeah.
And then he actually stole it and gets the money back.
Yeah. Well, he never had the money to spend in the first place.
It's probably true. Yeah, if he was thieving, he probably did not plan to spend the money.
Yeah. But
pretty sweet.
Yeah, I like heist things like that and stuff like that. That's why I like the first Ant-Man was a good movie because it was like a heist movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I like all the Ant-Man movies, all two of them that I've seen. I didn't see Multi-Mania or whatever.
Yeah,
Quantumania.
I haven't even seen any of the Ant-Mans, unfortunately. Kind of fell off of the Marvel movies around that time.
I made the effort to watch every single Marvel movie in preparation for Endgame. And by the time I watched all those, to prepare for like Infinity War, and by the time I watched all those, I just kind of got tired of it.
Yeah.
So then it was like another year until I watched Infinity War, and then like even another like maybe like 6 months to a year until I watched Endgame.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay,
Yeah, they are a lot. They are a lot. If you're not super into superheroes, they can kind of get overwhelming fast.
Mm-hmm.
I like them, but it's, for each individual character, it kind of gets... I only like 2-3 characters very much to that degree where I'll go and watch a lot of the movies. Batman, the Hulk, and I guess probably Wolverine if they make more of those. Wolverine or Deadpool.
Yeah, I still want to see that new Deadpool movie.
Yeah, I got to see it too. Everybody who saw it said it looked good, or said it was good.
Mm-hmm. I also liked the Robert Pattinson Batman. That was good. I did say before it came out, like, I'm kind of tired of how often they're, like, rebooting these things.
Yeah, it's not a necessity, though. They want to keep the Batman franchise alive, but they lose directors, they lose actors, they have the whatever trilogy, like Zack Snyder, I think was it Zack Snyder that made the Dark Knights? Yeah, he had
no, that's that's Nolan.
Justice League. Yeah, it was Christopher Nolan made the the Dark Knights, but he had the plan for the trilogy, and that was that. And he was like, I'm not making Batmans after that. Christian Bale said he didn't want to be Batman anymore after that. So it's like, okay, well, we want to make another Batman movie. Let's cool it off a little bit, wait a bit of time, and then bring him back eventually.
I ended up really liking the Robert Pattinson one.
I feel like it was okay. It was like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I feel like it was a good start, but they just did a lot of things, I think, too gratuitously. Like, especially a lot of his slow walk-up things. They went back to that like 4 or 5 different times. I was like, okay.
I liked it. The only thing I didn't really like is how destructive the chase for the penguin was.
He killed so many people.
What the fuck?
He killed so many people.
What kind of code do you have? Like, you can kill people if it's an accident, and then just don't worry about it.
He's killing someone, flipping their cars over, and they're exploding. He doesn't care at all.
Yeah, like that's so insane. Aside from that, I did really like it. Yeah. I liked the Suicide Squad. The
Will Ferrell, or not Will Ferrell, the Will Smith one?
No, that's Suicide Squad, and then the guy that James Gunn, he ended up making the Suicide Squad, which is like a sequel sort of. It definitely happens after the first one. Mm-hmm. But there's pretty much an entirely new cast except for like Harley Quinn and Rick Flag from the first one.
Yeah.
It's completely different. Like it's like the first Suicide Squad like kind of takes itself really seriously.
You're some kind of Suicide Squad.
Or at least like the I don't know. It doesn't take itself really seriously, but it's like it's different. But the Suicide Squad is very, very delightfully silly. It's
nice.
Good. There's a whole scene where like there's these two guys and basically their entire like profile is the same. They're assassins and like what they do, they just kind of have like different personalities, but they accomplish the same things.
Yeah, isn't one of them John Cena?
Yeah, John Cena. And then
I think I've seen that scene. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there's that where it's like they give the same description. He's like, what?
It's like I shoot things and really good.
But there's the whole scene where they're like, okay, we got the new mission to like save Rick Flag from this like prison camp thing. So they like go in and they're having basically a competition with each other of how many people they can like shoot to death,
right,
as they're like walking through and they're like silently taking out everybody pretty much. Then they get all the way to the room and it turns out it's a resistance camp against the guy that they were trying to kill. And Rick Flag's like, oh hey, like these guys found me and they're like patching me up. This is pretty good. And they just killed all of them.
Oh well. Better get out of here. There's a heinous attack coming.
Yes.
Whatever the hell.
No, they admitted they're like, ooh,
oopsies.
My bad.
Didn't need him anymore, did you? You're patched up, right? That's great.
But yeah, it was. I thought that one was very good. They also had I watched it because I was kind of excited to see Pete Davidson who's in the like the promotional material and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. He dies in like the first scene. Pretty much. Yeah. They like storm a beach and he's like, hey guys, I'm the one that reached out. I'm the one that sold all these guys out. And then he just gets shot in the face.
All right. Take that, celebrity cameo.
Yeah. Well, his character's like canon name is Dick Hertz. Richard Hertz.
That's pretty good.
I forget what his superhero or supervillain name was, but yeah, they got Pete Davidson to come on in and play Dick Hertz and get immediately shot.
Sounds pretty good, like Bryan Cranston in the Godzilla movie. They played him to be the guy who made Godzilla, and then they went away.
Oh, I didn't see that, but
it was, I think, in 2016 or 17, the first Godzilla remake they did. Yeah, they was like Bryan Cranston was like the scientist who was working at like the facility that made Godzilla, and then it's like his son is the one that has to be like, oh, I'm the only one that can help stop him because of my dad's research, and it's like, what? I was at what's the point of this? That was weird.
It's sort of like a cameo. Is that the one where like Godzilla is like growing the entire course of the movie?
Maybe it might be.
Like this weird like fucked up armless thing with like blood coming out of his gills, like going through town.
Maybe. Now that I say that, I don't remember a whole lot about the movie beyond the beginning and end of it. The whole middle was just kind of a blur to me. Because the end is where Godzilla shows up and actually starts wrecking shit, and I was like, oh cool, I can tune back in. And the beginning I was like, ooh, Bryan Cranston, and then he went away and I was like, what's going on here? All of the promotional material for the movie showed Bryan Cranston, so I figured he'd be a major character. Threw me off.
Get you into the door. You only got to pay for a couple days of filming with him.
Bing bang, probably one day. Fucking scenes he shot. It was literally just him walking around being like, yep, all right. This is Godzilla research.
Yeah.
Just looks into the camera once and says, I think we could make Godzilla. And then the fucking title screen hits.
Beautiful. 10 out of 10.
Perfect cameo. A perfect cameo and a perfect time to end it.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thanks
Thank you.
for. Oh, well, all right. Why don't you take it on? I usually do the intros. You can do the outro.
Thank you for listening to Cold Hard Trash, episode 19. I'm Breeeeeg. He's not.
I'm Trashcan.
We'll catch you later.
Please tell people that you like this show and they should like it too.